Hey guys, how's it going today? I hope you're having a wonderful one. And I wanted to give you something a little bit different today. I'm going to do a Geek Out review. Because of the format of a traditional review, I can't really fit in all the stupid little things, otherwise, it would run like the entire review would run like half an hour long. There's lots of little things that always make me go, ooh, and ha, and whoa, and woo, in everything Star Wars. I mean, every episode of Rebels, every uh, book, and everything like that. I'm not going to guarantee one of these types of videos for every single piece of content because, like an episode of Rebels, there's probably not going to be too much. I mean, if I can make like a 3 or 4 minute video out of it, I will. But anyways, I wanted to give you guys basically all the little bits and pieces in Empire's End that made me go neat or cool or woohoo. I've already covered a couple of those in the spoiler review, but let's jump right into it. So we've got the Emperor mentioning Shatterpoint, which is a Force ability slash piece of the Force that was mentioned in a novel about Mace Windu. That's Legends now, but still a really good book. And it's Shatterpoint is sort of this ability to see, or rather, shatter points within the Force are kind of the butterfly effect type thing, where you've got, at this specific point, if you do this bit, then the entire galaxy is going to go this way. And then if at this point you do this bit the other way, you're going to make the galaxy go in this direction. It's the kind of thing like, what if R4's motivator hadn't gone bad right when it did in A New Hope? Or more mainstream-ish type way of seeing it is, what if Luke had chosen to join the Emperor? That would have completely changed the way the galaxy worked. That's a shatter point, and the ability to see shatter points is pretty much a Force ability. And it was exciting to see Palpatine mention it. I'm not sure if it was canonized in the Clone Wars cartoon. I think it might have been, but I'm still excited to hear Emperor frickin' Palpatine talking about it. Then there's Bones, all of Bones. I love Bones. Mr. Bones is a fantastic character. I love that droid so much. I love murder bots. I always have. I loved HK-47. I loved 000 and good lord, what's the astromech droid's name? I can't remember. But I love murder bots. I can't get enough of them. Um, and Bones has two main things in here. One is his self repair thing, where like he changes from being he was completely dismantled by the Imperials after being captured, and then he's just a head that's only kind of attached to his torso, and then that's it. So he, initiates self repair, and he kind of telescopes his head back into his shoulders, and then he drags himself with his chin over to one of his arms and then reattaches that, and then he uses his arm to go and get his other arm, and then his other leg, and then his leg, and then I like that. Yeah, it's broken and ridiculous, and it makes him ridiculously overpowered and almost indestructible. But I don't know. I like those nutty things. I mean, I mentioned it in previous videos. I love the nuttiness, the the nutty things that happen in all Star Wars films and all Star Wars content. Really, I like seeing the crazy stuff like throwing explosive crates at things to kill it, and uh, a murder bot droid that can take out an ATST and 3 stormtroopers just fine by himself with no damage. Then the other bit about Mr. Bones is that we get a little KOTOR hint, a little KOTOR nod in HK-47 dialogue style stuff. Mr. Bones is filled with tons of different bits of programming and personalities from different areas and different droids and stuff, and he kind of snaps into an HK-47 style mode where he says, "Don't worry, Nora Wexley, we will destroy all of these Imperial meat bags." And then Nora kind of looks at him weird, and he goes, "No, sorry about that." And he turns into Mr. Bones again. And that was awesome to see. I don't think that that's them trying to recanonize HK-47. I think that's just a nod to people like us. And if all that it was meant to do was to make people like me go, woo, then it definitely accomplished that. I like the hollow droids, the droids that can kind of impersonate people through like hollow projections and voice modulation and stuff like that. At first, I was really worried that we were getting cloned Imperial or cloned Emperor Palpatines. I was really scared of that, and then I realized, okay, no, it's just a droid pretending to be Emperor Palpatine for the sake of being a proxy. Okay, I can live with that. That I can live with. It was a nice callback to the Force Unleashed droid proxy. Let's see here. What else? We got the Journal of the Wills, which is kind of being treated as the Bible or the Quran or insert religious text here for the Church of the Force. Uh, it's mentioned in a big interlude about a bunch of Church of the Force worshippers going to return some kyber crystals to Christosis. By the way, maybe we'll see. Maybe we'll find somebody finding that pile of kyber crystals with the skeleton in a sealed off cave on Christosis. Maybe in one of the next episodes. Maybe. I'd like to see that. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'd like to see that. And I'm really happy to see the Journal of the Wills being mentioned as a religious text. The Journal of the Wills, for anybody that doesn't know, is kind of the original concept for Star Wars, that all the tales of Star Wars, A New Hope, all the episodes, those are kind of chapters in this Journal of the Wills that is found by somebody here on Earth. That was the original concept, for one of the many original concepts, I should say, for Star Wars that Lucas came up with. And I'm happy to see that, the Guardians of the Wills and the Journal of the Wills is being brought into the canon. I'm really excited about that. We got a lot of hints about ancient Sith technology, ancient Sith Empire stuff. We don't know exactly how long ago it was around, what happened to it, why it was destroyed, etc., etc. We don't really get any of that, but we do get hints of it being in existence. We get these ancient style computer councils from long, long, long ago. We get some Sith artifacts. We get a red mask, a white lance, a black holocron that appears to suck in light as opposed to reflect it, and a bloody banner. They all get destroyed when Rax pushes Teshu, who's holding and wearing all of them, into the planet core of Jakku. But we got to see him, and I'm excited about that. I like the Old Republic era, so knowing anything about prequels, I'm happy with. Getting any hint of that kind of stuff, I'm super excited for. That leads me also into what killed Jakku, because the planet core is still teeming with life, quote unquote, according to Rax and the Emperor. But what does that mean? And what killed Jakku? What made Jakku the desolate planet that it is? Why did it stop being a planet full of life and a planet capable of sustaining life? And what turned it into a dust ball? I want to know. I want to know whether or not, was it a battleground for some ancient Sith versus ancient Jedi war, or what happened here? Why is it the way it is in Aftermath and in The Force Awakens? I'm curious. And what do you mean by the core is still alive? Does that mean that the surface doesn't have the Force, quote unquote, anymore? But then how would Kylo be able to do his thing at the beginning of TFA? I don't know. I want to know more about that. I want it to be more elaborated. I appreciate that Galen Erso is mentioned, and not only is he mentioned, but sadly he's still thought of by the most of the known galaxy as a war criminal. He's still considered as, he was the architect of the Death Star. He's the reason that Alderaan is gone. He is mentioned in this book as the same thing as Director Krennic or Tarkin. He's mentioned as the legacy of Galen Erso, the legacy of Orson Krennic, the legacy of Grand Moff Tarkin. He's mentioned in the same sentence as them. So that sucks, man, because Galen was a good guy, and man, like I wasn't as big of a fan of Rogue One as a lot of people, as a lot of Star Wars fans were, are, whatever. But man, that sucks. I like Galen. We got a lot of stuff that doesn't mean much about the Acolytes of the Beyond. I'm wondering if maybe, and bear with me, this is another theory, but I'm wondering if the Acolytes of the Beyond, they're kind of portrayed as this terrorist organization. They're kind of designed to be this thing that remnants of the Empire left behind to mess with the New Republic. I wonder if that's what pushes Ben over the edge. Luke and his Jedi decide to go out and try and fight these Acolytes of the Beyond, and then Ben doesn't believe that them slaughtering the Acolytes of the Beyond is right, so he turns to the dark side or something, maybe. I don't know. It's a possibility. I think it's a possibility at least. I appreciate that could have been a member of Saw Gerrera's partisans. It's mentioned that he fought on Onderon. That's where he got the beginning of his military experience. So I would like to know if maybe he might be in the Inferno Squad book that just got announced. The book about Imperial commandos that are infiltrating the remnants of Saw Gerrera's band of partisans. I'm curious. Maybe Jalm is going to be in that book. Maybe? I'd be excited to see that. It was super satisfying to see the Ravager crash. Because now every single time that I see that scene in The Force Awakens when they're flying through the remnants of the Ravager, I'm going to think about Commodore Agate. Freaking Commodore Agate. I talked about her in the spoiler review. I love Commodore Agate. She's a phenomenal character, and I think that she's probably the best military leader style character in Star Wars, and that's including Grand Admiral Thrawn and Captain Pelion and Admiral Akbar. I love Commodore Agate. And now I'm gonna think about her every single time I watch The Force Awakens, which makes me happy. I want to know more about the Elioti and the Annihilator slash Liberty's misuse or misrule, excuse me. Um, which is the Superstar Destroyer that was taken over by this band of pirates that's led by this being known as Elioti. I'm excited to see what that becomes because we got this. The whole them growing was an interlude in Life Debt, but it's not. And then it's mentioned again, and they're kind of already established. They've got about 24 ships, including the Annihilator that has now been renamed Liberty's Misrule. And they're kind of this floating nomad nation of pirates and smugglers and criminals and gamblers and all that kind of stuff. And I was excited about that. Lando comic tie-in with the Imperialis. The Imperialis is copied and left at all these observatories all throughout the galaxy that the Emperor had built secretly. A character goes, wait a minute, wasn't that destroyed? Because for us at least in the last book it needed to be salvaged and everything to figure out where you're from and da 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 da. That's this character isn't saying that, but the character asks, wait a minute, why is it here? I thought it was destroyed. And then he explains, Rax explains that it was cloned basically, and that yes, the original Imperialis was destroyed after it was captured by a gambler and then scuttled. That's exactly what happened in the Lando comic. I know what happened there, and it made me super happy to see that. Finally, does Thrawn live past Rebels? I don't know. Who is in charge of the Eclipse? Because we know from this book that the Eclipse goes off into wild space or goes into dark space or whatever term they're planning on using for it. I hope that we get more clarification for that in the rest of the canon and stuff. But what does Thrawn do? Like exactly. Like does he survive past Rebels and then just get reassigned? And now he's in charge of the Eclipse that's off scouting ahead into dark space before the rest of the Empire followed? because we don't know. Ray Sloan and the Huxes and their little band of murder children didn't land on the eclipse until after the end of this book. Like it cuts off just before they land, and it's like, no, I need to know who's in charge of who's on board the eclipse. What is on board of the eclipse? Is it Grand Admiral Thrawn? Is it an entire ship made up of Rakatan clones or something? What is it? And yeah, that made me go, what is it? I don't. Oh, it's still driving me nuts. I want to know so bad. But that's part of the reason why Lucasfilm is so secretive, is because it makes people go, oh, give me, I need to know. And it sells stuff, so they keep doing it. And you know what? It's all in fun, right? So yeah, I guess that's about all I've got to say that in this Geek Out review for Empire's End. Thank you guys so much, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. You can also connect with me in the comments down below. I will always try and respond to comments down there. Also, you could follow me on Twitter and Instagram. I'm much more active on Twitter, but you can give me a follow on Instagram if you want to see me obsess over plastic crap. But the best place to get a hold of me is probably on the Twitch streams, which is every Sunday night at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time here in the United States. Thank you guys so much, and as always, may the Force be with you.